Are you at a place in your life, perhaps on your spiritual journey, where you feel stagnant, where it seems as if there really isn't anything happening? Your life seems to have come to a standstill. You're not really engaged in anything. You're not accomplishing or achieving anything on the material level. Perhaps you've gotten tired of the old life, realizing that you've been living someone else's life. That is the life that society told you to live. And perhaps you've come to realize that who you thought you were all this time was just an illusory idea. All the labels and identifications placed upon you by others. And maybe you were spending so much of your life trying to be the person others expected you to be. And having realized that this isn't who you are, maybe now you're at a place in your life where you don't know who you are. And maybe you don't know what to do with yourself. Maybe you lost your ambition. Maybe you don't feel inspired or motivated in any particular direction. And so you find yourself doing nothing. Often I hear, in regard to spiritual awakening or personal growth, this analogy of the caterpillar becoming a butterfly. And it's a really beautiful and inspiring metaphor of transformation. But what I don't hear often is much talk about the chrysalis or the cocoon. You know, caterpillars don't just turn into butterflies overnight. A caterpillar builds a cocoon or a chrysalis around itself, and from the outside it appears that nothing is happening. The cocoon is just hanging there on a branch, motionless, and it may hang there for a very long time, appearing to be totally inactive, but inwardly there's a transformation slowly taking place. Sometimes in our lives we might go through a period where on the outside there isn't much activity. It might seem as if we're not doing anything with our lives, we're not getting anywhere, and we may have absolutely no sense of direction, no particular passion to inspire us. But what's important is whether or not there's a transformation occurring within. And there have certainly been periods in my own life where I was undergoing some inner transformation, but from the outside it looked as if I had given up on life. I had become inactive, and it didn't appear that I had any goals or ambitions. I had nothing to show for myself, materially speaking, and I had no sense of what to do with myself. To anyone on the outside, it would appear that I was just wasting my time, wasting my life, stagnating. But inwardly there was something happening, even if it was very subtle. It may not have always been some grand transformation taking place, but it was important nonetheless. So it's important to take time for silence, for stillness, for solitude, to just be in the moment without necessarily being engaged in any external activity, to simply rest and relax, and especially when we feel restless. Sometimes we find ourselves in a state where we're not doing anything with our lives, and we feel like we should be doing something. We need to be doing something, but we just don't know what exactly. There's just this overwhelming feeling of restlessness. And oftentimes, that's just something imposed upon us by others, by society, that we should be constantly engaged in some activity, that we should always be striving to achieve some goal, that we should always have something to show in terms of material achievement. And if we don't, then we're a waste of space, as if our value depends on material achievements. What I've found useful in my own life is that when I feel restless, sometimes the best thing to do is rest, which means not to do anything, which means to just relax and be in the moment, not trying to do anything, not trying to go anywhere, not trying to accomplish or achieve anything, but just to be able to be in that moment fully and attentively, and to be at peace with the moment without requiring it to be anything other than what it is, without requiring anything to be added or taken away. Just to be in the moment as it currently is. So sometimes what feels like stagnation is just resistance to the moment. Sometimes we just need to relax and surrender to that stillness. Sometimes surrendering to stillness is the most transformative thing that you can do. When a caterpillar goes into stasis, it doesn't try to become a butterfly. Nature takes care of that. All that's required of the caterpillar is to surrender to that process. And that process can take weeks or months, which in the life of a caterpillar is a very long time. It could be compared to years in a person's life. So don't worry if that process seems to be taking a long time. Simply allow it to unfold. And if we can approach it like this with patience and presence, it can transform us in a really profound way. If you find value in this content, be sure to like, share, and subscribe.